Okay. Then going to the next question. Let me see. What do you? Hold up. I totally lost myself. Excuse me. What are what are some of the what are some of the biggest challenges that leaders in the ministry are facing today?
Um, to some of the pressures that they have, or
Yeah,
just some of
like
the.
yeah, pressures and like some of the challenges that's coming up, like whether it's spiritually or in their personal life or just what the church is or what they're facing day to day from the congregation, I guess, if that makes sense.
I think probably with the way the economy has turned,
Hmm.
there's a lot of people who are struggling financially. I think you look 4 or 5 years ago or 6 years ago, things have changed quite a bit
Hmm.
for the worst as far as where people are getting jobs and that's a challenge. And I think as a church, I think we need to just look at those issues and maybe staff accordingly to get the most bang for your buck. I think, especially going at looking at getting out of Bible college and moving on to ministry. I think as ministers, having that just I guess a portfolio that would spread you out quite a bit. That you're able to do a lot of things and not just be focused on one thing in particular, but being willing to be stretched and to be challenged and to do a lot of things and to do those do 3, 4, 5 things well. And
Hmm.
I think that's a challenge with the church. I think
Hmm.
looking at the way things are,
Hmm.
um, not just financially, but as far as resourcing our ministers, that is a challenge.
Hmm. All right. Okay. Go. Just moving on right along. What are next question? What are some advice that you would you give someone who is going into a ministry leadership position for them for the very first time?
Um, I think just kind of what I said, just making sure that you are, well rounded,
Mhm.
and not just the book side of ministry, but the practical side of ministry.
Mhm.
I think a lot of, I know being in Bible college, you kind of learn the concepts, you learn the philosophies, you learn all kinds of great material,
Mhm.
uh, but putting them into practice in a real life situation, uh, I think that's important to have, having that practical experience.
Mhm.
I think you can't really emphasize that
Mhm.
anymore. I think it's just important that we have that practical experience when it comes to ministry.
Mhm.
And there's one other thing I was going to say. I can't remember. You can edit the stuff, right?
Yeah.
Me. I'm
Yeah.
just kidding.
It's okay.
Um, I think just submitting to whatever leadership you're willing, the church and the pastor, and just being a support there
Mhm.
in whatever capacity he needs. And sometimes you want to do things your way,
Mhm.
and it's easy to kind of get sucked into that.
Mhm.
But the reality is that you need to submit to the senior pastor and support him. That needs to be the top thing. And I think your leadership skills will just kind of flourish from there whenever you get the whole submitting thing down.
Yeah.
Uh, I think great leaders become so much better when
Okay.
it comes to getting that down first. So,
Alright. Well, I like that. Okay, and the last and final question that I have is, what advice would you give a younger version of yourself that is starting out in the beginning of your journey to the leadership position you are in now?
oh boy, when I first started, I was so green. There was so many things that I didn't know.
Mhm.
Um, I think, just kind of going back to more of the practical ministry. And I think Aaron and I kind of did that when we were there at CBC.
Mhm.
Uh, but I think if we would have spent more time doing that, I think if we would have spent more time, not just doing youth ministry,
Mhm.
but doing other ministries. We did one thing